Right back. I'm gonna just grab water. You. Yeah, it's me. Might be wondering how I got here. What's going on, Cap? Sick. Playing some Dwarf Fortress. Fortressing some dwarfs. I'll be popping in and out, Shane. I'm streaming at the moment. Big Dwarf Fortress guy, you know? It's like high octane content. Really? Huge Dota guy. Yeah. How's that going? Nice. I really like that frog guy. It's actually kind of fun because you like there's like skill kind of to it because you get to like do your abilities. You gotta like play it on a beat. You have to like tap a button, I think, or click at a certain beat. So point is, it's nice when you actually like remember the tune because then like you don't even have to watch the meter. You can just like cast your abilities based off the actual beat of the song. It's really cool. Yeah, I don't know how good he is. I don't think I picked the right like abilities and shit, but be fun support. Oh yeah, like just in general because of the music. Yeah, I don't know how strong the heal is, but like yeah, so that like I don't really know fully how it works, but the more you like hit on beat, think up to like 4 stacks, it'll like increase the buffs that you're casting. So it's like I think the max is like 16% like damage increase. Like one of those like increases like the spell power or something like that. Um, the other one's like movement speed. I think the healing one is it was getting better at the end, but I don't think I built the right kit. Got this fort, dude. All these dorks are forting in the fort. Yeah, I'm just hanging out at the guy scene. Make a cool ass waterfall entry, dude. So all my dorks, when they walk through the fort, they have to like pass through the waterfall, and they're gonna be like, "That was really cool." Yeah, they'll be like, "That was pretty sick." Yeah, what? Dude, I missed it. I feel pretty fucking good right now. It's like exactly how the thoughts go in their brains. Oh, I'm an idiot. Yeah, I mean that's actually a good point. I would probably also have a pleasant thought. Yeah, actually, it's pretty accurate. It's very funny when that's like the first thing you build too, because like there's nothing else nice that the dorks like. So, like all their thoughts are just like, "Wow, that's pretty fucking sick." Never gets old. Started playing Persona 3 again on my PlayStation, dude. Gotta play again so I could get through the. They added like the DLC. There was like an epilogue that they added in the original game that wasn't in the release. That's like, yeah, it's not like a big one, but it's like 16 hours of gameplay and it like changes the story. So figured it was kind of fiending some turn-based RPGs. And I was like, yeah, give this a go. Nice to have a console game to try every once in a while. Really fun. Probably my second favorite after Persona 5 Royal. And then 4 was also very good, but um, you know, the updated graphics and shit were really nice. They're remaking 4 soon too. Yeah, the four remake is coming out like this year, and then 6 I think is coming out like next year. It'll be very cool. It'll be fun to have a new Persona game, and I'll definitely play the remake because I actually never finished. I was like an idiot, and I for some reason I heard about the anime. They like made an anime, and I was like, that sounds kind of interesting. And I watched it, and it just like spoiled the story for me. And I was literally like at the end of the game, and I was like, I don't think I need to do it. Anime wasn't even very good, so I was like, damn. Yeah, I think they made one for like every, not everyone, but 3 and up, or at least 4 and up. They made an anime. The fucking in pers- the Persona 5 anime, the fucking PE teacher was very funny. He was just very sexually aggressive. It's like, damn, dude. All right. Yeah, yeah, that guy, and then like maybe the Burger King. It's pretty shitty, but do we need to like? I forget what the consequence was. Don't they like turn themselves in? Yeah, yeah, I remember something like that. You used to fight that that like 15-year-old's mom. Just like a giant version of her mom as a sphinx. That was pretty nuts. I was like, all right. Yeah, you were so mean. And then I think I remember she wasn't mean in the end or something. It was just like that was her. It was like her version of events. She was like, actually, you weren't even that bad. I just like the coffee shop guy. That was my favorite character. He's like, all right, dude, don't you fucking do anything stupid here, idiot. Look, I know your fucking mom, which is also a very funny thing. Just like knowing somebody and then being like, yeah, can you take my son? I don't think that connection was like very tight to like the level of it's like, yeah, you want to take my delinquent son, but yeah, the most dishonorable. Teach you how to make curry. Yeah. The only thing I don't like about three is that it's like the dungeons aren't really specific. It's just like a big tower. So and then like there's like checkpoints with like big bosses and story things. But like as you get higher in the tiers, like the levels change a little bit, but it's like not like themed really, like in the same way, which I thought was cool. Yeah, last night I just kind of rushed to the because it's like the same deal as five, where you like kind of if you want to like enjoy more time, like leveling up your like actual stats, you just like clear the dungeon as quick as possible, or like do it in one shot. You could kind of do that in this one, but the redhead bitch is just like, "You're so fucking tired. Stop, you fucking idiot!" And I was just like, "No." I like tried. They're like, "Yeah, take the elevator. That's your checkpoint. All right, let's wrap it up for the day." And I just like walk back up the stairs with like no special points, and then like she's like, "What are you doing? You're so tired. You should end it." And I was like, "No." And there was like multiple levels of that. Like, all right, you defeated the boss. You should probably come back now. He's like, "No, I'm gonna do the next one." Yeah, no, I could do probably a few more. Yeah, yeah. I mean, honestly, it's the best way to do it because if you're just smashing shit, and then in the game world, you can find items that give you that, and you could get around it. The whole point of those items is to use them, and then just manage your shit well enough, and you could always get by and then have enough for the next round. All right, Cap. I am starting a new fort here. They spawned in a joyous wilds. So what that means is it's like terrifying creatures, and it's just a little bit wacky sometimes. I'm a little bit worried about this falcon. Sometimes birds, they like start fighting your dorks. Got alligator woman just walking around. Okay. You wild? You like just fucking. Okay, they disdain commerce. We'll tame them. We'll let the alligator woman join our society. We'll raise a race of alligator people. So I think what I want to do is like orcs love taverns, so you gotta have a tavern. I think I'm gonna build a tavern like over this river. But first, we're gonna dig into the ground a little bit. Eventually, we'll. So the main entry, I think I'm gonna do through here. Then we can make like a little drawbridge, and then like a longer hallway here, maybe. Or you know, we could just make the entry here and then have it like wrap around. Because the whole point is I just want to have like some kind of defense if somebody attacks. Like normally, like building a big bridge and then like carving out like a deep chasm. But this is pretty deep. Problem is this isn't long enough. Orcs like to get misted by the waterfalls and they like it, so you always kind of want to build. I don't know if you want to. There's ways to like build devices that like spray mist on your dorks. Yeah, this is always easy because as soon as they walk through, they're like, "Oh, that misting was nice," and it gives them good thoughts. The more good dots they have, the less they spiral. Okay. So I'm gonna erase this shit. I only did that because I was like measuring out. I was trying to center this little peninsula. I mean, ideally we could dig this out and then make this like an island and add bridges here, but it's kind of an endeavor, I have to say. It might be a good project eventually, but we build a like a castle out here or something. All right, for now we'll build here. We could always re-engineer things later. Do I have wood? So we're gonna dig through a well. You play it. Gonna dig through a well, and the thing about that is we need to get walls up pretty quickly, just so that we can make it so that the like water doesn't like leak through and get fucking damp everywhere and shit. You know what? I'm an idiot. I'm gonna actually restart. I keep fucking up this building. It's a lot easier to go back since I'm so close. Normally I would just build a wall. Doing like four staircases, so you kind of want the rooms to work. You could do like one staircase that just spans like 40 levels, but that's a little. So you want to have some elegance. That's the right word. Oh, I'm sorry. That's pretty nice of him. Get him, Shane. Take him out. Sick. Shane's having a tough time in Arc Raiders, dude. The Latino yelling at him. Shane can't comprehend it. So yeah, anyways, like the goal here is just to get everybody shit faced, Cap. And then to incite very funny fights where like gnomes start coming in and sneaking in, like taking my getting drunk and causing bar fights. Eventually we get a few prophets in here, kill somebody in front of them, and then they create some new religion. All my dorks go insane. And then I also want to incite a war with the elves. So if you like just cut trees down, they like that. So that we're gonna be cutting some, not even because I need it, but because I like want to piss off the elves. Um, Eventually we're gonna need to train like a military. We're a little ways away from that, but get ourselves like a unit of some hammer dorks, dude. A pretty cool fucking hammer, dude. Something. Make them hammer dorks. I like hammer dorks. Funny thing about this game is like the way combat is handled is like every part of the dork is involved, so you could just like down to like the fingers. So you could just like get a bunch of hammer dorks and instead of like cutting, they just like smash their fingers. Some dorks are pretty crazy, dude. Just like obliterate somebody's hand. Thing about the hammers though is they can pretty much fuck up anything. But then you get like a demon or a titan. If you dig too deep, you like find demons. And some of them are like they have like exoskeletons like made of like some crazy material like copper or some metal. So obviously if you're like swinging axes at them, that's not gonna really do anything. So hammers are nice because they fuck up most enemies and they'll fuck up like like if a colossus, like if a bronze colossus shows up, I'd be fucking cooked if all I had was like metal bolts and then like axemen or swordsmen. or spearmen. Really, anything pointy. Actually, I think spearmen are okay against those kind of things, but yeah, get a lot more flexibility. It's also very funny when you have a sheriff and their unit is just hammer dorks. So every time they go to like arrest, if their combat skill is too high, they'll just like instantly kill whoever they're arresting if they resist. It's pretty funny. I had a I had a dwarf, and I didn't even have a military. I was playing a few days ago, checking this out because I hadn't played in a bit. I had no military. I had a bunch of dorks, and like a forgotten beast showed up, which is like a scary monster, and just like one of my citizens, like while it was defending itself, like one punched it in the face and just like killed it instantly. Some of them are super weak. They like sound scary, but you like look at them and it'll say like they're a frail like ghost monster or something. Not ghost, but yeah, made of like timber or some shit, some weak material. So they just fall apart instantly. I think it's pretty random how those are generated. But yeah, it's I once had like a flying demon that I like dug too deep and I was taking like adamantine, like the most valuable metal in the game. It's really deep at the sub levels when you dig really far down. It's like all volcanic and shit. If you go too far, if you're mining like a pocket of gems too deep, you basically open up like a gateway to hell. But even as you're like approaching it, you can like run into pockets, and so you gotta know you're getting closer when you start like hitting like a vein, and then all of a sudden you find like a demon just sitting in it. And then of course if you really open up, they just start pouring out. Oh my god. A dog is fighting a giant lamprey. Oh my god. Oh nice, the giant otter's dead. Or it's probably gonna die. Dude, this dog is pretty sick. I gotta turn him into a war dog. Shane, you gotta load in as Pudge again, dude. Can't ever give up. Alright, so this is the level where the well is. So we're gonna just dig through it, and then we're gonna like clear out a space and get some walls up ASAP. Sorry, this is like the most boring part of the Dwarf Fortress. I know this isn't a very exciting game to watch on stream. It gets pretty entertaining though when you actually have like something going on. I think what I'll do too is eventually I'll just build a tavern outside and make that for guests. So then like we could have our tavern specifically for dwarfs. And they're nice guys. And they're all good guys. It is true. In that movie I Am Sam, they were all retarded guys, but they were very nice. You ever see that movie? It's pretty crazy. It's like Sean Penn plays like a retarded man, but the plot is so stupid. Like basically he like has a child, and then like it's supposed to be a feel good movie kind of, but they're like the the government's like, all right, your daughter is 8 years old, and it is now time for us to take her because you cannot raise a child. And it's like, bro, he raised her from like a baby to 8 years old. Like, I don't understand why it's a problem now. Like, they were just like, at the age of 8, it's like, it's time to move on from your retarded father. Like, it didn't. And then Toby from the West Wing is like the lawyer who's like trying to take the child away from him. And he's like the same. Yeah, I mean, he's like, yeah, you can't be taking care of this child. And some other attorney lady's like, but he's a good father, that kind of shit. And I'm pretty sure that that's where, like, never go full retard came from, because he went full retard. Like Tropic Thunder, don't go full retard. I feel like that's true now after seeing I Am Sam. It's also very funny because like you look at the audience score and it's like 90, but then like, the like critic reviews of the movie are very low. It was a feel good movie of the year. It's kind of like The Godfather of retarded movies. Now, The Ringer was actually far better. Yeah, exactly. No, that would be Serpico. So yeah, I mean, literally the guy from The Godfather. It should be the Godfather of gay guys. I told my dad that like no, I my dad was like watching Serpico and it was like, yeah, I think Serpico's just a gay guy. And he was like, all right, Jim, enough of this. And I'm like, no, dude, he's like saying stuff like he's going pee pee in the dark. Come on, Jim. He wears funny hats. He's got all these different outfits. I mean, he was like, I'm a Mexican guy now, undercover, and it's like, dude, you're like investigating like the Italian mafia. He's like, I know, I'm Paco now though. Or it was police corruption. That was what it was. All right, Cap, we are almost to the well layer. This is the most difficult part, like I said, because you just need to get these walls up quick, and then after that, I can just like dig down. I shouldn't run into any issues. Eventually, we're gonna have to dig out a well, but we're not doing that now. Trying to get access to the underground because the dorks like living around. Big Midas guy. Yeah, everything's fine now, guys. I got my Midas. Honey, you don't have to leave me. I got my Midas. God, we have Christmas this year. This hypothetical guy's wife already left him years ago. Talking about the Midas in a dark room, dude. Yeah, it is. It does become hectic. Right now, I only have 7 dwarfs. Actually, speaking of which, I don't know why I didn't already do this, but I'm gonna like make my expedition leader a miner. And then we're gonna make our mason a miner as well, because right now these guys aren't doing anything. Eventually, in that way, we just dig this shit out quicker. The longer we take to dig it out, it's to like fill up with more water. But the thing is we're also digging a bigger room, so actually that's probably not such an issue. But anyways, we got more miners now. It kind of sucks if you're doing. Normally, I'll do like a 3x3 staircase, like down, just straight. Something a little different stylistically. We're gonna have a couple corridors. And honestly, it's nice too because you can just like trap enemies. Like if they get stuck in a corridor, I can just like lock it from the top. A lot of ways to just use this game. Sea lampreys, giant dog, giant otter are fighting. Oh, an animal had a baby. Speaking of which, let's create a pen for our animals. This game has a habit of just like allowing the animals to like come into the taverns and like the meet. So they'll just go there if they don't have any like specified place. Let's go. Oh, it's I made that, but we're gonna make this a pen here. Plenty of space for that. Eventually, we'll get some livestock, dude, and we'll start making some cheese. Yeah, actually, I directed Serpico. It was a good project. Al was a pleasure to work with. I don't really know why he insisted on wearing that hat and a poncho, but it kind of worked out in the end. So, dude, that guy is very funny. Love that humor, dude. Also, it's also very funny. Now that he's getting popular, he's like going on like talk shows and shit. And I saw one where he was just, I think it was like Seth Meyers or some shit, but he was just explaining about like the times he was talking about the times he was an SNL writer and how like none of his ideas like he said he maybe got like two bits or like sketches like in the entire time he was a writer because every time it would be like literally just the skits that he said that he used multiple skits that just didn't go into SNL. So I'm just imagining that humor in SNL and boomers just being like, "What is?" I think he was a cast member for like 1 year or like an associate, one of those guys that pops in. And he was just like, I guess I'm a writer. You should check out Detroiters. That's not a bad show. Made that and that yeah, it's really short. It's it's something to watch. It's like I think that was his first show right out of SNL. I think there was only 1 or 2 seasons of it. I gotta finish that show, The Chair Company, though. He has like a new show on HBO. Very dumb. Yeah. I don't know why it came to my mind just now, but just I'm thinking about that bit that he has in his show where like he like goes to like some kid's like concert or something and that guy's like, "Yeah, you're wearing the same shirt as me." And he just goes and trashes like some classroom. He's like, "All right, man, we're in this together now." Tim Robbins playing like the straight man. He's like, "What the fuck? No." Good to see Tim as the straight man every once in a while. Just the guy who's like eating hot dogs or like dressed as a hot dog. At all these tables. They're so dirty. That lady's pretty funny too. Yeah, we have dug out our well. The cool part is it seems like we have a 2 level deep well, which have some pretty damn clean water. Sometimes when you have like a single block level of water that fills up, the dorks like bleed into it and it like contaminates it, or I think it goes stagnant. Actually, I don't think it goes stagnant in this game, but or no, it does. There's like yeah, yeah. Now there is stagnant water. I don't know if it becomes stagnant if it's because it's on the surface though. I think if it's not on the surface, I don't know if the water can become stagnant. Either way, it's not a problem we have to deal with in this game. We're gonna be underground. We have at least 2 Z levels. I don't know if this is another well level or if it's saying it's wet because we just dug through it, but we might have to dig through another well level. And actually, before we do that, let's cut some wood. Make sure we have enough walls and shit. The elves aren't gonna be happy. The elves are gonna come and visit, and they're gonna see that I just have wood in all my hallways. I just have a wood wall. Eventually, I'll use stone, especially for like fortifications. Which this is all new to me. I haven't. They added like a siege mod, so they like, or not a mod, but like an expansion of new features and shit. So like now they made it so that the siege mechanics of the game are actually kind of interesting. Previously, like I actually really don't know how it works. I'm kind of I don't know if we'll get sieged unless we're actively in a war. There's some elves nearby, so I think they will siege me, but I'll probably have to be the one to declare. We're in a joyous wild, so we have fun little creatures. Giant ravens. That's actually not very fun. It's like kind of a wacky but fun place. So like, there's like scales. So untamed wilds, wilderness, and then like I forget what the other level is, but it's just levels of like how crazy the wildlife and the events that could happen, like what shows up at your fort and what threats you deal with. So if you're closer and not in the wilderness or like untamed wilds, which is the most extreme neutral, then you're like not a lot's gonna happen. Like in terms of animals attacking you, they might not even show up as much. But then there's like good and evil biomes, so like that scale applies there. So there's like joyous wilds, which would be the equivalent of like untamed wilds, but for a good biome. Then there's like mirthful and serene, which I don't know what scale those are at. They all sound the same to me. And then there's evil biomes that follow that scale. The evil biomes are like sometimes unplayable. He'll just be like in the game and like blood rain will be falling and all your dorks will be like going insane or I mean they really do kind of break easy. In all fairness, this isn't a very ideal situation. They don't even have beds yet. I've just been I've been forcing them to construct. We'll have to go as deep, at least as deep as the well is. Seems like we're 1-0. Maybe it's gonna be a deep well. Part about the gold dimension here. What gets popping though? But people are gonna start showing up. Hopefully nobility doesn't show up. They make like a lot of demands. They'll be like, I need a throne room, and then like they'll basically just like want all gold everything. Like, old fucking I don't know. They're nerds, dude. All gold everything. And I said, I don't know. Sorry. Yeah, my boss didn't. My boss is very non-confrontational. My review is just like, "Yep, you're doing good." I was like, "Bro, you gotta say like one bad thing." I was kind of like big guy SpongeBob. I mean, oh, I don't even remember that, but it was like that. I was like, "Come on, man." And then I was like, "All right, if you're not gonna say it, I'm gonna say it." I was like, "I don't keep my promises all the time. Sometimes I'll say I'll do this thing, and then I forget to do it because I'm busy doing work." He's like, "Okay, that's good. I'll write that down." I don't do that. Don't do that. Thankfully, I don't have to really deal with the customers. I'm kind of now getting my first customer interactions, but it's only like passively, like in meetings with other people who are talking to the customers. Occasionally, I'll pop in. I'll be like, "You sure you want it that way?" Be like, "Yeah, thanks for asking." I'll be like, "Yeah, don't worry about it." And everybody's like, "Wow, Jim's a really good guy." They're like, "Does Jim even fucking know what he's saying right now? This guy doesn't even fucking know what's happening. Who is this fucking guy?" I've been in this meeting now for like since for probably 6 months now. This regular meeting, and I joined early, and then I was like, oh hey, to like this person I've literally never said a word to directly. And I could tell they were like off guard, and I was like, maybe I should just probably should just like, oh hey Jim, all right man. I'm having a meeting next week. The developer team manager. I think I'll be probably changing role here. Hopefully, not that my job is bad. I would like to be doing. Yeah, I would like to transition to what I spent a master's degree amount of money on. I'm transitioning. Yeah. So I'm kind of interested in DevOps, but I feel like it's not a really fun job. And like when people don't have the thing working the way they want it to, I know I'm very happy. I don't know if I could do that every day. Filling up with water quickly, Cap. Fucked up. Okay, I think this is a partial well, so we're actually making a lot of progress. So we're gonna have to wall off some of this, but this is a strong well. Um, yeah, we'll down. Problem is I need to like expand underground, and the kind of like they get rained on. They're so pissed like all the time, bro. Guys, it's just a little not gonna hurt. I don't even think they could get down there anymore. So these like double water drops means that the wall is an aquifer wall. The single raindrop one just means that it's like wet. That's because it dripped down from when I like cut a hole in the ground. So as soon as we don't see those double raindrops, we can stop digging down. It said it was a light aquifer. This hasn't really been light. The light aquifers deep, though it isn't filling up very fast. So and maybe like build plumbing in this game. I could run reservoir, and I could just pump it out for water and shit. Eventually, I'm gonna have to like start setting up that shit out here. Ideally, so there's like cave levels. So like there'll be like a little cave landmass downstairs. There's usually one or two of them, depending on how high it. Yeah, there's usually one or two of them. Sorry, I kind of blanked for a minute there. So we could build on that. It's like kind of like outdoors. It's like being outside but underground. Sometimes they generate and they kind of shit. But sometimes it's a nice little open space, dude. And like it's pretty cool. You can build like little houses. Basically, your dorks are living like Smurfs. Instead of cutting down the wood, this is like the workaround for dealing with elves. It's like they don't mind if you harvest the large fungi, which you build like fungi. I think is what they call it. There's a few large mushrooms that get chopped down like trees. I think the dorks actually really nice. So down some more. I'm just trying. I don't really want a bunch of wood of different types because I mean you can use any kind of wood for building, but it looks bad. I think it's a stylistically a bad choice to use different kinds of wood. But if you're in a pinch and need structure up. You really have no choice. We have plenty of choices here. I'm hoping that the elves show up and are like, "You need to stop cutting down trees," so I could kill the messenger like on the spot. And I'm cutting down so many trees. The elves are not going to be happy with me in the enchanted forest, dude. I'm gonna show up with you, Horn Mount. Wells. This is an aquifer lair. I know that's just the sea level. This is an aquifer lair. This is quite the project. Becoming quite the project. Don't know because what the fuck is this? Oh, the harp skill. Oh, you know what? They must be. So Shane, there's like a really tall waterfall in my map right now in Dwarf Fortress, and because of that, I think the animals that are coming at the the height of it is like a river. They like fall down the waterfall and they just die. So I looked at the like bottom of the waterfall and I just see like mangled skeletons of carps and shit. And I'm just I don't know. This might be bad actually. It's gonna destroy my frame rate. I need to figure out how to dispose of these carp bones. I'm gonna have to divert the carp, dude. I have to build a ramp for them. Like this is ridiculous. To build a fish ramp. Stumbled upon some Chinese channel where some guy was like farming fish and like water jugs that he had taped together. It was really impressive, but it looked terrifying. Yeah, they like they go into the bigger like jug when they get bigger because they can't whoa they can't get back in because it's too small for them to get back in, so they just keep moving to the bigger jugs the bigger they get, dude. I was like, damn, if I ever need to build a system for farming fish, I know where to go. I should just become a fucking clam farmer, Shane. You could actually make a lot of money doing that out here, and it's anybody. It's like a weird thing where with the laws, anybody can just do it. You just have to apply for a permit. No. Oh, can't believe you say that. I've digged through so many wells, so many aquifer levels, dude. Trying to dig into my to the ground, dude. There's up so quick. Couldn't build stairs. I do, but we could build stairs. Not an issue. We could also build stairs down there, so we're just gonna need to be careful to build out the aquifer fast. Dig out the aquifer fast. Where's my dorks? Why are they mining? I have multiple miners. I think it's probably a good idea to start. I'm gonna save, because I think I'm gonna build out a farm here. But I don't want to really dig it. If there's gonna be a lot of aquifer around here, I think we'll be okay on this level. I just don't feel like having to wall up another room. And the aquifer, there's definitely aquifer below, so I could set up a well. Drinking source too. Maybe a little hospital. Hospitals need wells, I think. And I like having the hospitals near the surface because that's usually where most of the conflict happens. I think eventually we could build like a little garrison here. So like we'll do like a tower. And then maybe make it like 3 or 4 levels. Yeah, 4 Z levels is pretty good. 5 Z levels. And that way they can shoot down at combatants and shit. Is a defensive measure, and then obviously if they get fucked up, then we can have another unit of like melee troops that like waits inside of there so that they can't even get into the fort. And then we have to also consider threats from below, but we don't have to think about that right now. Right now I'm just preparing for the Great Elf War. I filled up fast. We're gonna need to lay down some floor over this mud eventually. The dorks don't really like the mud. Just start getting walls up ASAP. What are you playing, Cap? What have you been gaming on, buddy? The latest Cap game. Still a DayZ guy, or you been, what was it? You were playing something else recently. Some other survival game, maybe? Oh, okay. I was wondering why so much water was pouring out, but I just opened up that pool that completely filled up. We're gonna need to dig this out quickly so that we can get walls up. Hopefully we can, yeah, okay. I say, hopefully it's not deep enough to where we can't lay down. Constructing. I really didn't think this well would be that deep. Get more go tree. Yeah, that's it. You win it, Shane? It's good. Hey, man. Win his Pudge? Arbner. Arbner is pretty big slob and dumb. Pretty funny when you catch people in the river, though. Get over here. Where are you going, boy? You leave your snail trail, and then you can run away quickly. Yeah, this is my alleyway. Yeah, okay. Human Z. I think you mentioned that was the one you might have mentioned. Yeah. I saw it on Steam. I was kind of intrigued. It's been a while since I played a survival game. I think the last survival game, if you call it even that, there was survival elements with Medieval Dynasties. It's a really fun game. If you're ever looking for something new, but basically like you start out and you like build a town, but like right at the beginning of the game, it's like a guy, so you like build a shack kind of deal, and then eventually you convince people to like move, like and like live as residents, which I find kind of fun. It's a very grindy game though. It just takes such a long time. Um, but it looked cool. It's been a really long time. Like the last game I played like that intensely was Rust. I think I probably told you this a million times, but I was like one of the first players of Rust while it was like in like really early access. Like they still had zombies. At one point they got rid of the zombies, and then they made it so that like there were like animals that attacked you, and those were the only enemies. But they just had a different model. And then eventually they were just all red for some reason. Also, they would chase you forever. That was a very fun one. It wasn't forever, but it was like a really long time. You had to run like miles before a wolf would disengage from you. It's not very tight. And they were also very loud. So like you would just like minding your own business, and then like all of a sudden you have a wolf chasing you. Some guy knows exactly where you're at and just domes you. Man, Rust is crazy now though. I'm happy that that's still a thing. That's a young man's game though. I literally just can't do that. It was like a commitment back in the day. Me and my friend, I would stay at my buddy's house a lot in high school. We would have our laptop set up, raid and play together. It was fun time. And then there, like during school nights, one of us would like leave our laptop open, and then we would just like turn the volume up all the way so that we could hear if somebody was like blasting with C4. We literally had like shifts where we were like guarding our fort and like alerting each other if we were getting raided. But that was really the only way to be like successful. There were some pay to win elements if you were like on a server. I never really got into it, but my buddy like paid like $20 for some shit and got like airdrops. And that was a thing. And then ultimately we just end up losing it like in a raid. But it made the game fun. Some people were just turbo nerds at that game, man. You can't beat turbo nerd, especially when you're just like dog shit at the game. Good at shooting game. I got a lot better at Tarkov. I used to be so dog shit at Tarkov. Oh, a fox and a dog are fighting. I hate when I get the war sounds, so I don't know if it's like bad battle or if it's like what's happening. Maybe I check out a zombie game. Maybe check out Humanist. Isn't that like PvE? I could do PvE. Or is it mind your own business PvP? Like I could mind. I just don't feel like dealing with turbos. Giga Chads out there just harvesting Jimmy. I kind of dropped Tarkov. I was playing it a lot for a few days. I wasn't streaming. Cause I need a game where I don't have. I don't know. Some days I'm just so fucking tired. I had such a crazy week this week, Cap. Also, I apologize if I haven't been streaming much. I want to say I'll stream more, but I really don't know if that's gonna be the case. It might be like 2 or 3 days a week for a while. I've kind of hit a like gaming rut. It's kind of crazy. As soon as I turned 30, literally that night, and it's not because I turned 30. That's dumb to say, but like at that same time, I was just like tired of gaming. And you could kind of probably see it too. Like I've been starting shit that seems kind of interesting, and like maybe a younger man who like I don't know. I don't even want to say younger man, but like another me would like definitely be into it and play those games for like 10 hours. But sometimes I load into shit and I'm like, this is fun, but like, no, I'm not gonna see this out. Beldevec was kind of that way. I thought it was a really cool concept. I like the art style, but ultimately myself being interested enough to finish it. Same with that cat game, which I was kind of disappointed in. I was hoping I'd get more into it, but I've never been a huge roguelike guy, anyways, to be honest. Except for Wildermyth. You ever heard of Wildermyth? That's a very fun game. It's actually a very similar game now that I think about it, but it's like the classic, like turn-based combat type deal. More like XCOM, actually. It's like a grid system, and then you have shit. People of different class. It's kind of cool because then, like, you go through an adventure. You know, it's a story essentially, but it's like a dynamic world. There's a few like scenarios, but they're all random for the most part, if I recall. Like how it plays out in the map, um, and then like your adventurers can have children, and then like they are your next generation, or you just recruit new adventurers. Sometimes the better option. But then you get, I think there's like legacy buffs and shit. That game was really cool. I think you could play it on my Mac. I might play it on my MacBook now. It's a good MacBook game. I like having games that run well on that, just so I could like sit on my couch and trackpad and not have to go crazy. Not that I play very much. Really worried one of these dwarfs is just gonna fall off this bridge if like some kind of animal shows up and like wants to, like, if a bird starts like fucking with my dwarf like while he's crossing the, probably just gonna fall off. I'll be right back though. I'm gonna take a piss. You got fed up with it too? Sorry, I just read what you said. Hey. Yeah, that's me. Well, you might be wondering how I got here. Found out I had to water my plant. Oh, I'm happy. My plant, I got a plant like a year ago. So it's almost made it a year. I got it right around when I started working my current job. But it was starting to not look so good. Don't have to water it much, but I'm gonna get some more plants this summer. Never been a plant guy, but it's nice for the vibe, for the feng shui. Okay, so we're running out of beverages. I think pretty soon here I'm gonna have to just start digging, regardless of. Let's make this a farm. So we can fit a workshop there. Alright, that works. Workshop, workshop, workshop. You know, he's digging out more. So we're gonna start. Oh god, we have migrants. Now they're gonna really start be. We got more dorks now. Oh nice, we got a boyer. He's talented too. So boyer will make crossbows though, but I think they're like wood. It's like not that type, but it'll be good for like immediate weapons. We do need to make bolts though. Dude, I'm just trying to get copper right now, bro. You don't even fucking understand. Dude, I'm just making bolts with it, dude. I don't make alloys. I am a sterling silver kind of guy though for like nice furniture, dude. Sterling silver is pretty tight. I find tetrahedrite. What is that called? I think that's right. The copper, yeah, the copper, and then sometimes silver. I think it's one silver and like three copper. That's really easy to get. Yeah, I think it's like something with a G. I don't know. It's not gallium, but it's galena. Yeah. I think you definitely get silver because I recall. Because I definitely didn't want to like harvest the lead, but I remember that was like a byproduct of getting the silver. Something. I started a new fort. I didn't like my last one, but I found a really cool map. So people were starting to spiral, and I hadn't done some shit that I should have done earlier. I had like 100 people and like nowhere for them to live, and then just like yeah, that's what I'm about to do. I found like a cool place with two waterfalls, but I keep digging into aquifer layers, so I'm just gonna have to keep digging, and then but like because I've been spending so much time digging through like multiple layers of aquifers, now I'm just gonna build like some shit in the like level below, just temporarily. That's what I'm doing now. It's just taking a while. You just gotta cut a lot of wood. And... No, that doesn't happen now. Right now, I gotta dig out a farm because migrants are showing up. At that point where I get in my first wave of like a few migrants, but it's going okay. This woodcutter isn't cutting wood quick enough. It's really pissing me off. I need to. That's another reason why I restarted, because my best dorks, which I had like very few of them, just kept going insane because they wanted to make the most ridiculous shit, and I didn't have my workshop set up yet. And they were asking for so many things. Like, I could get leather. You know, it's like I may not be set up yet, but if you really need leather, I could fucking find a skinned animal. It's like not a big deal. But this fucking guy wanted like he wanted like metal. He wanted, which is not, again, not a big deal. Leather. He needed dyes, which I was definitely not even remotely close to building dyes. And then he wanted me to like cut gems. Hadn't set up that shit yet. I could have done that, but there's just so much shit. And that was my last like talented guy, and the rest were just literally all animal trainers. I mean, he was gonna make a pretty cool item. I just wasn't ready for it. Yeah. Yeah, also I've been finding that the game really likes to be like, this is a fair family heirloom. So it's like, okay, cool, I went through all this shit and now I can't even like display it. They're just gonna keep it to themselves, I guess. Keep forgetting you just keep building after placement, so I'm just like sitting here like an idiot, like re-clicking the same thing over and over. Are they edging? Are they edging? They're like, yo, why are you fucking watching me, dude? I mean, they are monkeys. They're not the best guys. I mean, they might be, but I'm not gonna lie. I think they might be an ape. All right, we need to get a fucking carpenter, and we need to get. That's crazy. They're trying to trick me. They're trying to trick racists. They're trying to be like, they'll be like, this is a monkey, and then like they'll like flip into different panes, and then eventually I keep seeing it. So it's about Brazilians. Are you are you sure you didn't mistake the Brazilians for monkeys? Yeah, let me zoom in on that. All right, so we are going to lay down some fucking wood here, and then we're gonna set up our barrels here. Ooh, we got a creative guy, Quan. I think I'm gonna make him a fucking engraver, dude. He's gonna love it. He's creative, sickly, disdains cooperation, but he's trusting. Rail. Hopefully they just show up, dude. I've had it happen where like a million gem cutters show up and they're all like legendary, and I'm like, I guess I'm making fucking gems. Yeah, well, you train one of those guys. You just make them set the gems. Not too sure. I think it just makes it quicker at the least. I mean, in real life, fucking gem cutter is much harder than gem setting. I've fucking done gem setting like a retard. When I worked at the pawn shop, my boss was yeah, I was not a legendary gem setter. My boss was like out, and some lady came in and was like, "Can you fix my wedding ring?" And I was like, yeah." And then I just like brought it back, and I like ripped back the bracket, like like the small metal gold brackets, dude. And then I just fucking laid that bitch in there and hammered it on. She was like, "Thank you very much." That was my logic. And thankfully it was, because if it was CZ, I probably would have shattered it. It's actually how I learned to like tell if a gem, if like shit is like real. She was like, "Yeah, if it's like fake, it's gonna like look really good, and if it's a good fake, it's gonna be clear that somebody like intentionally like put it in their pocket for a few weeks, because it'll look like it kind of got sanded or something." Like like she was. Oh, I was like, "Oh, you actually know your shit." Yeah, yeah. So it's completely fucked. But even those look perfect though. Which is the thing, which kind of is like, yeah. One time I like expanded a guy's ring. That was pretty fun. You basically like lay it on a pipe. There's like a stretching pipe. You have to like hammer down into like a hole, and then that was easy to do. Like cutting them and like making them smaller is very hard. I've never done that. You have to cut the band and then like snip it, and then yeah, I've never done it, so I don't really know. But I think you could just melt it if it's like, just keep it in like a tray. There's like a tray, and you melt it just to, like where it like starts to, but you can't like let it lose. They're like gold rings, but I think if they're like 24 karat, it's like really difficult because like you could damage it. Yeah, yeah. 12 and 14 karat was always very easy to work with. The one time I had to do that thing with that wedding ring, it was like a 14 karat. It was like nice. If it was 24, I would have said no. I'm gonna break this shit. 24 karat is legitimately like Play-Doh. If you hit like a hammer with it, it'll like be fucked. If you had like, you could almost probably press into it and see an indentation if you were strong enough. Very small, like impression. Yeah. Yeah, it was very funny when people would bring stolen silver, like plates and shit in, and be like, "Yeah, my grandma died," and it's like clearly like a crackhead. Not that that's like, people go through their thing, but it's like I'm like, guy, you didn't get this from your grandma. I was talking about my days when I worked as Corey from Pawn Stars, Windsor, Connecticut. I think they've already done this bit before, but when I was like trying to think about being a comedian, and then I was too lazy to ever do stand up, I thought it would be a very funny bit to do like Pawn Stars, but it's like a regular pawn shop. So they're like negotiating over, like when they do the segment where they're like, "Yeah, so this guy's bringing in like a 19, like like earning, some baseball player, some baseball card or something," and like in this, it's just like, "Yeah, I got a lamp. All right, I think I could give you about $10 for that." They're like, let me bring in my expert. Yeah, well, you say, let me bring in my expert. And it's just the crackhead who like stands outside. We didn't have like a crackhead, but we had a guy who would like come in like every so often, maybe like once a month, but enough to where I'd seen him a few times, and he would be like, "Yeah, I'm the living embodiment of Jesus Christ," and I'd be like, "Interesting. Let's hear about this." Like one time, and then he just like did like a whole monologue while I was like doing transactions and shit. It was pretty fun. Seemed like a smart guy, but he thought he was Jesus Christ. I don't know. I think it takes a certain level of intelligence to like remember like lines from the Bible. I wasn't very religious, but he would cite things, and then I would remember that they actually are lines of the Bible. I think that takes a certain. I don't know. He did it a lot, so I feel like if that's all you read, very easy to remember that shit. But um, like if somebody asked me to quote a line right now, I couldn't do it. Yeah, probably not. I don't think so. I would probably die. I'd probably die. Like if I had to do it for my life, I would die. Oh, what's the fucking Genesis one? I know. Yeah, I don't. I definitely don't know John. I was always an Old Testament guy, Shane. Yeah, I used to. I don't know. After like in middle school, I just didn't go to church ever again, really. So I was like, yeah, for me. Wait, I know about like scripture, too, which is crazy. Like I know a lot of scripture. If like somebody were to ask me about a story like in the Bible or like even things that happened in the New Testament, I like could definitely tell you a few, but I just don't know like a specific. Only ever actually read the Bible directly like 1 year of high school. We had like scripture freshman year. I went to a Catholic school, so we had like religion class, and every year it was slightly different. So like year one scripture, which was a good class. I actually really liked that. Mr. Piatic, shout out. He was a gamer. Anyways, and then like the next one was like Christian morality. That lady sucked. I don't remember what the third one. I think it was like a general study on like theology. So like covering other religions as well. That was kind of interesting. And then I don't remember what the fuck the last one was, but we just like watched movies all the time, and the guy played guitar. It was pretty lit because we'd always be stoned. Yeah, I had to go to church like every Friday at school until high school. That sucked, kind of. Sometimes it was alright. Was that for like confirmation and sacraments? There's that at least where I lived. Yeah, yeah, same. I think I got confirmed in eighth grade. It was weird though. So when I moved from, I think, no, I'm still streaming technically. I'll probably play the next one if you guys do another one. Um, anyways, when I moved from like Illinois to Connecticut, I had already been, I had already gone through confession and shit, and then like I moved, and then like for some reason like they didn't do confession until like sixth grade, and I was like, yo, this is sacrilegious. Like I was pissed. I was like, what are you guys doing here? You're doing it all wrong. Like in there, you get where I lived in Illinois too. You get confirmed at like fucking 12, and then like in where my church it was 14. Yeah. Mm. Yeah. It's yeah. Kinda. It's like, bro, they got their fucking the Jews got their thing where they're a man at 12, dude. Why can't I have my shit? Anyways. Yeah, it was the same range in general. No, that's crazy. That's nuts. I think my church. It's pretty sick. The yeah, so like the church I was part of when I was young in Illinois, it was like a modern church, and so when I moved to Connecticut, it was like Puritan isn't the right word because it's literally not Puritan, but it was like the most pure I think that Roman Catholic can be in like a modern place. If that makes sense. You know, not like the country, but like yeah, and it's like a white church, like very bare on the inside. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a better word for it. And like very formal, and like it was not really like that at my old one. Like the guy never. I know he would definitely wore the gown, but I don't know if our deacons wore a gown even. In Connecticut they did, and I was like, oh, what? This guy gets a fucking gown too? What the hell's going on here? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I almost did that, but I never did, thankfully. That's nuts. Sorry, you get front row seats. He's like, he's like, all right, first you hand me this, and then I hand this to you. It's like the suzerain bit. You gotta lay the sword on the right shoulder. It's the wrong shoulder. Gotta hold the wafers. I went to one Protestant service in my life, and it was like kind of, I don't want to say jarring, but it was just unusual. I didn't think it would be like that different, and I was like, okay, this is more casual. Felt more casual, at least in comparison to like what I don't know, like the way people were dressed. Yeah, I know, I can't remember. He was like, his parents were very German. Like he was like his dad was German. I don't know. But yeah, we were very stoned the night before. Like this was my friend that I when I was like 14, we would get four locos and like smoke like K2. And so we would just be wandering around the neighborhood like drinking old four loco and smoking K2. And then I was not. And then like one day we snuck out obviously, and then we like snuck back in, and like his dad like clearly knew in the morning because we didn't clean up anything. Like he just opens up the door and he's like, "Come on, we're going to church." And then he sees like I didn't even know this was a thing. Like I didn't know we were going to church. Like it wasn't even a thought that occurred to me. And so I was just like, all right, I gotta go. We'll go to church. He's like, all right, man, let's go. So we're just burnt out at like Protestant church, my first Protestant church experience. I mean, he literally did say we needed Jesus. Like, there's some very funny moments with that guy's dad because he was like a spaz, but also his son was a fucking idiot. Like, he's way crazier than I was. Um, no good. So Quinn, what's going on with you, big guy? You big church guy? Oh, really? That's pretty cool. Cool. Well, you're probably there for yeah. You should just go sometime. You should just go for the just to see what the deal is. I thought about it the other day. I was like, I should just go to church on Sunday. Like, see what's going on over there. It's been a little while. Been a while. What, are you a big scripture guy? My favorite story was the one where Jesus got pissed at the Jews and started flipping all the tables. I always like, damn, Jesus is fucking sick, dude. Then they fucking got him? Yeah. Yeah, they were cool guys. You know, Alex, he's a good Christian. Yeah. He was Polish. Maybe he'd be cool like me. Yeah, there's something inside of him. Aliena's kind of smelly, though. Am I wrong about that? Dude, imagine if Lena sent you feet pics. Like, wouldn't that be crazy? Like, if I just got feet pics right now, that would be nuts. Oh no. I've never actually understood that, but I'm not gonna shit on it. You just said soapy? It wasn't that boring. And you're doing good. Alright, Quinn, we got some new arrivals. I got an accomplished glassmaker. It's kind of mid. High master woodcrafter. Okay. Yeah, so I don't have any sand. No. He's a talented weaver, though, so I'll put him to that. And because I'm not gonna be buying shipments of sand. Yeah, oh yeah, I forgot about that. You know what that command is? Yeah, I got I got sandy clay. I think that actually works. Very least I got clay, so I could do pottery. I got sandy clay, and I do think that works. I have silty clay, silt loam, sandy clay. Where's my babe, Sandy Clay? I'll be back. Peace. You can dance. You can dance if you want to. It's pretty crazy. I've been streaming for an hour and a half, but all I've done was dig like 7Z levels down, clear like a well. It's pretty sick. Just been walling up aquifers. I'm just doing some urban planning, dude. I'm a planner.